and welcome to this session on understanding multiple intelligence. CBSE, through its circular number 32, dated 3rd May, has introduced these free online sessions on WebEx platform, and we are glad that it has enabled us to reach out to a greater audience. And our teachers who are under great stress on how to teach and empower their students in this pandemic time, they are given an opportunity to enhance their skills and update their knowledge base and competencies through these sessions. And these are meant for their professional development. Even the new education policy 2020 also says that teachers and principals are expected to participate in at least 50 hours of continuous professional development program every year. As mentioned in the circular, each teacher will be able to attend 2 such free sessions per month. Hence, they should select their sessions carefully and judiciously so as to ensure optimum utilization of these sessions for fulfilling their training needs and enhancing their knowledge and also areas of expertise. Teachers will receive a link for self-assessment at the end of this session. This link will have some questions related to the content of the session. In their chat box, they will receive it. And this link will remain open for half an hour after the session. So they are expected to attempt these questions, and on the basis of their performance in the assessment, their attendance will be marked by the training headquarters. And after that, they can fill the feedback form on the training portal. Only after all the process completed, when they complete all the process above, they will be eligible for getting this certificate. And for any further query, they can click on the link given in the circular, which will take them to the training headquarters contact us section, and they can place their queries there. Our today's, as I have already told, our today's session is on understanding multiple intelligence, and our expert today is Ms. Aarti Chopra. She is Principal, Amity International School, Gurugram. With over 28 years of experience as a teacher and an administrator, she is a well-known CBSE trainer and a content creator. Aarti ma'am, I welcome you and I hand it over to you to carry it forward from here. Aarti Chopra ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Rama ma'am, for a wonderful introduction. I hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So, as I'm going to start sharing my screen, let me once again introduce myself. My name is Aarti Chopra, and I'll be taking your session today on behalf of Center of Excellence on Understanding Multiple Intelligences. I welcome all the teachers to this session and all the educators who have come to learn something new to utilize their time very aptly even during the pandemic. We are also thankful to CBSE Center of Excellence that in spite of the pandemic, it is providing us with wonderful opportunities to learn, to grow, and whether it is digital or it is online mode, we are ready to embark on this journey and we are ready to learn more and more new things, right? So, all the listeners, we are going to have an interesting session today. And let me tell you, there are going to be certain learning outcomes. That is, I expect that all of you by the end of the session will be able to identify 8 multiple intelligences. You will be able to also identify some of your own strengths, which are so important. You'll be able to deliberate on activities that you could incorporate in your classroom teaching so as to enhance multiple intelligences, and also how will you be able to make your classroom into a more rich environment by using multiple intelligence is this that we are going to implore upon and learn through this session that I'm going to have with you all today. A few guidelines, I think Rama ma'am has already made them clear to you that you need to share not to share the link with the others, compulsory to give your response in the chat window, and all the other things have been made clear to you all. Okay, so here we go. I'll be using a number of, online ICT tools, and I request all of you to be fully participative. It will be good if you are sitting on your system, and because some of the features they are hidden when your one is on the mobile. Yeah. To begin with, a small icebreaker for all of you, and that is all of us have interesting names given to us by our parents. I love my name. Do you? How can I depict my name through a picture or an art form or a numerical form or a graphical form? Can you also present your name in this manner? I'm sure all of you have diversified interests and abilities. To do this, I have shown on the screen how I can write my name in different ways and digitally, graphically, as well as numerically. I'm going to share with you all a link for a whiteboard, and all of you will be able to come on board on this whiteboard. And I would like you all to also depict your name in the way that I have, in a graphical form or a pictorial form or an artistic way or by means of a picture. The whiteboard link has been shared. All you need to do is to click on it and you will be able to come on board, and that is the best way that you will be able to actually come on board and introduce yourself. So I'm sharing the link again to everyone now. Here is the link to whiteboard. You just need to click on it, come on board so that I can see you present on the whiteboard. Yes, I hope everyone got it. Now I can see you people coming on the whiteboard and sharing your name, isn't it? Yeah. I want you people to depict your name with the help of any graphical numerical form. Yeah? Of course, you all can hear me. Yes, I can see Alice, Arya, Bharti. They all have come on the whiteboard. Geeta, Mukesh. Come on, you have to depict it through a picture or through an art form or any kind of drawing that you can make that truly indicates what is your name. I am beginning to get some nice, interesting pictures that you're going to indicate your name. Your name is already visible to me over here, and all of you can see, and I'm reading out also. Yes, I've got a beautiful drawn of a Deepak. Yeah, and you can see that it is indicative of the name Jyoti, Divya Jyoti, and she has drawn it very nicely. Beautiful Deepak. So nicely, it is indicating the name of the person. Actually, what I'm doing, this icebreaker, I'll explain later, it is connected to multiple intelligences. That is why I want all of you. Yeah, Madhu, that's very nice. There is a jar and there is nectar in it, and she's written it for her name, Madhu. That's beautiful. Some of you have really put very clever thoughts in your Padmaja. Yeah, she's drawn a lotus, a beautiful one, and that is how it is reflecting the name, Rohini. And I can see a rose coming up, Runa, and she's given a code for her name. And beautiful, Sakshi has drawn something very nice. Yes. Oh, lovely. I can see lots and lots of beautiful pictures coming up. That really shows that all of you are very artistic. Okay, I'm going back to my presentation and taking you further. Yes. Now you can see over here on screen, I have written, I think, therefore I am. All of us think. That is why we are what we are. What does that mean? If we didn't have the ability to think, we would not be having this kind of an intellect and this kind of a diversified interests. Now, once upon a time, in a jungle, there was a teacher that was sent, and the teacher was told, you need to educate all the animals of the jungle. They better learn some good things. So there went the teacher, made them all line them up. You can see how they all are lined up, huddled against each other and looking shocked. And they are really in a state of bewilderment. You can imagine what kind of a question the teacher would have asked. When the teacher had asked, all of you have to give an examination to live in the jungle. And the examination is you need to climb the tree that is right behind you. Well, the elephant didn't know where to look. The fish didn't know what to do. You can see the penguin looking really dismayed. The only guy who was happy was the monkey and, of course, the crow. The other people didn't know how to climb a tree. Well, the matter that I want to bring to your fore is that every individual does not possess the same kind of ability. One shoe cannot fit all. Every individual has different kind of ability. Therefore, they all need to be tested also differently. Don't you agree? Now look at this. Oh my God, does something like this happen at times in your class? Do we have children of this kind in our classrooms? At least in their classrooms, we could see. But in the classrooms, the online classrooms that we are having these days, yes, if we insist you keep your cameras turned on, we can see if they are into some kind of mischief. Why do you all think that the children behave in this manner sometimes? What makes you think that this could be the reason? Why do they behave in this manner? Can anyone come back in the chat window and give the answer? Why do the children behave in this manner sometimes? Any answer? Well, it is very, very clear. They behave in this manner because they are not taught. Maybe they're not happy. That's right. They are excited. Rupali says maybe they're not happy or they are lacking interest. I agree with Kusum who's writing this. And also they're restless. They are bored. Yeah, you're right. Or maybe they are not taught what they want to learn. They are not taught in the manner that they wish to learn. There is lack of interest in them, right? So that is the reason at times the children behave in this manner. Yeah, they don't want to attend the class. And there is, there is stress on them, or they just want to, they don't feel connected with what the teacher has brought to teach. Look at the statement that I have in front of you. Can you see this? I want my children to understand the world, but not just because the world is fascinating and the human mind is curious. I want them to understand it so that they will be positioned to make it a better place. Only a psychologist can talk like this. And the man who said these lines is Howard Gardner. He is a professor of cognition and education at Harvard Graduate School of Education. He said, I want the children to understand it so that they will be positioned to make it a better place. What a great thought. So, what is it that Howard Gardner said that till today the world is looking up to him? The multiple intelligences premise given by Dr. Howard Gardner says that all human beings have multiple intelligences in varying amounts, in different amounts. If A has 90, B would be having 85, C would be having 35. Each intelligence can be nurtured and strengthened or ignored and weakened. The more you use a particular type of intelligence, the more it will get strengthened and empowered. And the less you use it, it will become weaker. I'll go back to this when I go further and I'll explain to you the concept further. It is located in different areas of the brain and it may define the human species. It may define that why some people are good singers, why some people are such great orators. You see them on television. Why some people are great, runners or sportsmen. Not everybody has that kind of quality. It is possible to work, but according to him, on all 8 intelligences for holistic development of an individual. Does the word holistic ring some bells in your mind? Very familiar word. We are absolutely connected with this word because we all have CBSE schools, and our CBSE's vision and mission policy says that we are aiming for holistic development of an individual, which includes physical, kinesthetic, intellectual or cognitive, as well as psychomotor, right? Further, the multiple intelligence theory, which is given in the book named Frames of Mind, that came out in the year 1983. Howard Gardner wrote the book Frames of Mind, in which he described the multiple intelligence theory. Now, challenging the traditional theories of intelligences, where everybody had the one single focus, and that was IQ, he spoke about varying amounts of multiple intelligences. He claimed that every individual has got different intellectual profile. It's a profile, it's just not one figure. These are 8 different kinds of qualities that a person may have, and they are located in different parts of the brain, and they can work at times independently or they can work together. Further, these intelligences, they can be nurtured, they can be strengthened, or they can be ignored, and they can also be weakened. And he says, Howard Gardner, professor, says that we can improve the education system by addressing the multiple intelligences of our students. In the US, there are schools which are based on the concept of multiple intelligences. And it's high time that we all accept it and take the biggest advantage of it. Now, according to Howard Gardner, what is intelligence? According to Howard Gardner, intelligence is an ability to solve problems and or create products. Very, very important. This is a unique definition of intelligence given by him. It's ability to solve problems or to create products. So it all goes to creativity. Yes. So it all reminds you all of Bloom's taxonomy, the higher 6th level, creativity. So this is what he gave in the book called Frames of Mind, the theory of multiple intelligences in the year 1983. Now I'm going to make you all watch a wonderful video, and what I'm doing is I'm going to share it also in the chat window, the link, just in case, due to network issue, you're not able to see it, then you can watch it in your own browser. Here it goes.
When's the last time you seriously thought about your browser? Does it
of intellectual strengths, and that these strengths are very, very important in how kids learn and how people represent things in their minds, and then how people use them in order to show what it is that they've understood. If we all had exactly the same kind of mind and there was only one kind of intelligence, then we could teach everybody the same thing in the same way.
Let's take a look at the 8 unique intelligences Gardner suggests. How do you learn best? Perhaps you will identify with one or more of the following intelligences. Mozart, U2, and Michael Jackson all had an ear for music. Those adept at reading, composing, and playing music may possess musical intelligence.
Of intellectual strengths, and that these strengths are very, very important in how kids learn and how people represent things in their minds, and then how people use them in order to show what it is that they've understood. If we all had exactly the same kind of mind and there was only one kind of intelligence, then we could teach everybody the same thing in the same way.
Alright, coming back to
Let's take a look at the 8 unique
I
intelligences
would now like
Gardner
to ask
suggests.
you all,
How do you learn best? Perhaps
You
you will
all need to
identify with
comment
one or more
in
of the
the chat
following
window.
intelligences.
and that is, yeah, it seems some of you were not able
Mozart,
to hear, but
U2,
I
and Michael
shared the link
Jackson all had
repeatedly,
an
so you
ear for
could play
music.
it in your browser as well. So no problem. I'm sure you would have got the gist of it. So let me tell you, there are 8 types of intelligences, starting from interpersonal, linguistic intelligence. Then it comes to mathematical or logical intelligence, naturalistic intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence, visual spatial, that is, and musical and kinesthetic intelligence. You all just saw the video. I would like you all to come in the chat window and tell me what was the most engaging word and what was the most interesting word or term that you could identify yourself with. Yes, thanks Simran Kaur, who's saying that it's amazing video. Holistic, yes, musical. Give me one word from the video which you were able to connect very well with. Yes, I'm getting the words intelligence, I'm getting holistic, more words, interest areas. Yes, come on, journals, musical. Good, good. So it seems you were able to get the gist of it, and that is the complete story that it described, that what was Howard Gardner's vision behind it and everything. Now, going a little further, I'm going to now tell you that what is it so important? How does MIs help? Yeah. So it is that if you have a piece of music, right? And it can communicate clearer than the words, the feeling of an era being studied in history. So if you pick up a piece of music, for example, of some time between when India got freedom, that's 1947-48, some patriotic song, say for example Vande Mataram, you get the feeling, you get goosebumps, you get the feeling that yes, this is what happened in our history, and we are able to relate to that period in our history. Similarly, there could be a rhythm that can help the children understand fractions. They could be the beats of tabla through which the children can do the recitation of the tables. The exploration of the sounds of an organ, it can help to understand the vibrations, the tuning fork's vibrations. And suppose it was Kepler, all those of you of a science background, the great scientist Kepler, he could think of the motion of planets in musical terms. You see, even now, when a small baby is born in the cradle, if the mothers make them listen to soft crooning music while they are young, before the age of 1, by the time they grow up, they would always be very good in mathematics. There is a connection between music and mathematics. So it's all got to do with how we implore upon the multiple intelligences, right? I'm going to make you all do something very interesting and you're going to love it. It's a self-assessment test for all of you. And I'm sure you would love to, first of all, know what is your intelligences. We are talking about bringing these intelligences amongst children. I'm sure you want to know that what is your intelligences. I hope the video, I have shared the link in the chat and you would be able to now see this. This is what the test is looking like. Can you all see it now? The link that I've shared in the chat window, you can click on it, and after clicking on it, you will get what I am showing you on screen. Find your strengths. Before I further explain the whole concept, I want you all teachers, okay, I will reshare. I want all of you to identify your own strengths. Out of those 8 multiple intelligences that we are talking about, I have just brought, a simple downloaded assessment test for you people to get an idea as to, I have shared it 5-6 times. Let me go on it now. Now it has got certain questions. Now I'm going to go on these questions a little fast because you really need to think and do these questions well to understand yourself. This is a self-assessment. I pride myself on having a large vocabulary. If it does not describe you at all, then it is 1. And if it describes you too much, that is, you fully agree with it, then it is 5. I will go with 4 in this. Using numbers and numerical symbol is easy for me. Music is very important for me. I always know where I'm in relation to my home. Keep on answering these questions, teachers. You all must be doing this quite a bit. And then at the end, when you submit, you will be able to get an assessment. The assessment would tell you what are your 3 strongest intelligences. Now, once you get your 3 strongest intelligences, you will be able to understand that as a teacher, what would be your teaching style. And then if the child's learning style is opposite to or something very, very different from your teaching style, then they can be a problem, right? Let me tell you, I'll explain this further. So I'm playing an instrument and singing. My ability to draw is recognized and complimented by others. Some of them are not reading, so all of you please do it now. And after that, do it again very nicely after reading every word carefully. And because it is important that hunting and fishing, not at all. I don't read and enjoy poetry, yes. I seem to understand things around me through a mathematical sense, of course. Remember the tune of a song sometimes. Easily duplicate color. Okay, so all of you keep reading and keep solving because every line must be read, thought of, and could be related to. Okay, I'm reaching the end. I've shared the link. You can save it somewhere on a Word file so you can do it later again. Now I'm clicking on the final submission button. It says find my strengths. Yes. So this is how you will get your strengths. My strengths that he has given is logical, mathematical. What does that mean? That is explained. Second is spatial, visual spatial. And third is language. And even in the remaining 5, he has given me different figures. Okay. So that is how it is. Now I want to tell you that once you get yourself assessed, then you will be able to understand how you are going to deal with these children back in your classrooms. Okay, now look at this. You will be able to draw right now. When I showed you, I'll show it again, that how I was able to see my 5 intelligence, 4.14 for logical I got, 3.86 for visual spatial, and 3.71 for language, right? So if you draw this kind of a graph now, and then your highest, take out your 2 highest or 3 highest and take out your 3 or 2 lowest, then you will be able to understand your own multiple intelligences, right? This test may or may not be very accurate, but the whole idea is you get a little insight into what are the multiple intelligences that you are good at. The important thing is for you as teachers to know in a classroom if a child has got 2 dominant intelligences, where the child is all the time very powerfully assertive, and 2 dormant intelligences where he's really low, is not very musical or not very kinesthetic, then you can let the parents know about it in the early years, and the parents and the school together can work on the child and slowly work on those intelligences. Because Howard Gardner says that multiple intelligences are not static. They can be worked upon and they can be improved. So this is the world of multiple intelligences, starting with logical, then moving on to linguistics, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalistic, kinesthetic, spatial, visual spatial, musical. Let me go on them now one by one to make you all understand what it is about. Now, the number smartness means logical intelligence. This consists of the ability to detect patterns in nature. You know, Fibonacci numbers, some of you, those who know maths, reason deductively, problem solving, and think logically. These children who are good at number smartness, they're able to create and manipulate visuals, create mental pictures with different kind of numbers. Then they are able to weigh. If a cake is lying, they'll be able to tell you that it is of 2.5 kg. This intelligence is mostly associated with scientific and mathematical thinking. Such people, they take up careers like scientists, they become scientists, engineers, researchers, mathematicians, accountants, computer science, etc. Of course, we had people like Albert Einstein and so many other mathematicians that you have heard of and you keep, telling the children about. All the CBSE schools have maths labs, and in our maths labs or in our classrooms also, we've got lots of these kind of manipulators. Over here, you can see smaller children of grade 2, 3, and 4, but then this kind of equipment of different kind of higher level can be made available to them. Children can do sequencing, they can do analysis, they can do ascending and descending order questions. How can students work upon their logic? Not all of them have got good logic. Not all of them are good at numbers. So those are not so good. How can they work on it? Explore their analytical skills by solving numerical puzzles, 2D and 3D mazes and challenges. Cultivate the knack for inductive and deductive reasoning, learning the concepts in dual side ways for parts to whole and whole to parts like tangram puzzles, and also practicing the sequencing, which is very, very important, giving the order and structuring activities with specific tools, right? So, and if you can look at all the puzzles which are shown here, of course, these are very, very familiar puzzles that all of you know. You also must be having tangram puzzles, Rubik's Cube. Children are very fond of doing Rubik's Cube these days. They must be given these opportunities. Those who are good at it, their logic is very, very high. Now, an exercise for all of you. All of us eat bread, butter, toast, So here are about 10, 12 sequences, 10, 12 events that happen before the bread goes in our mouth, from the table to our mouth. So these are the 10, 12 sequences. You need to put them in the correct order. So if you're an English teacher and you tell the children 12 lines of a particular poem or a story and ask them to put them in the correct sequence, that means you're trying to inculcate logical skills in a linguistic classroom. Okay, coming back to this, what will be the first thing you will do? Okay, eat the toast. No, not that. Plug in the toaster. No. What will be the first thing you will do? You will maybe take out the toast from the toaster. No, not from the toaster. what is the first thing you will take out? A slice of bread. Okay, let us look at the answers. Here it is. The first thing is take out a slice of bread, and then it comes to plug in the toaster. Then we go on to, yes, plug in the toaster, then push the lever down, put the bread in the toaster, and so on and so forth. I hope you got the idea. This is how we can enhance the logical intelligence. Second intelligence for today is word smartness. What does that mean? Linguistic intelligence, language. So important. Even to be good at logic, you need to have the language. You know, when we introduce problem-based sums in grade 3, the children whose language is not good, they are not able to decipher what the language means, and they're not able to attempt it. That is why NEP says that let them learn in their mother tongue till the age of grade 5, because this is the reason, so that they can become good at their logical skills. This intelligence, the linguistic intelligence, includes the ability to effectively manipulate language to express oneself rhetorically, poetically. These skills includes listening, speaking, writing, storytelling. All these people, Shakespeare, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, J.K. Rowling of our time, they all are very good in their language. How you can, what you can do in the schools, we have got language labs. In fact, we all have digital language labs these days. And not only that, we have also got crossword puzzles, dwellathons, Pictionary, word scrambles. These things we all keep doing. It's a good exercise. Other than this, you can establish a rich vocabulary by learning a new word every day. In fact, as the age grows up, 2 words, 3 words, 4 words, 5 words, so that by the time the child passes out from grade 12, he should have learned at least 10,000 words. That should be the target for a good school. Cultivating a thought language in which they can think and express their thoughts. These days, what happens is they are neither able to express themselves in English, nor are they able to express themselves in their mother tongue. So they are somewhere in the middle. I think we need to make their languages very, very strong. Exchanging and reading new books and writing their rhetorical reflections, inculcating, expressing writing habits with the help of picture description and creative expression. So languages can be worked upon by giving them lots of reading, lots of vocabulary, lots of, puzzles and these kind of cubicle things, so that they are able to work on it. If you are given a picture of this kind, well, there are lots of people on it. The picture on the left-hand side, definitely, yes, it's a swimming pool. There are lots of things happening here. So if you give them a picture like this, the child can easily write down 10 to 15 or 20 or one essay itself. So the more of description the child is able to do, the better will be his language. Look at the exercise I have for you. This is all these equipments are found in the kitchen, right? There is a sentence. I'll give you one example. Rest of it you will be able to decipher. First sentence, they are smuggling drugs. Tell me, there is one word you have to identify which is found in the kitchen. I'll give you the answer. It is M-U-G, mug. Got it? Now, number 2, you're going to give the answers. I'm looking in the chat window. She is a member of the National Ad League. He is the member of the National Ad League. What is the hidden word from kitchen here? Yes? Ladle. That's right, Alice. You've given the correct answer. Would you irritate a potential customer? Come on, this is very easy. Would you irritate a potential pot? That's correct. These films are not for kids. Number 4, these films are not for kids. For kids. I'm giving you the clue. Fork, correct. Shiny has given correct answer. Mary believes in acupuncture. Mary believes in acupuncture. Anybody giving the answer? Cup. That's correct. He is listening to a stereo performance. Stereo. Come on. Listening to a stereo. It's there. Come on. To a stereo. Okay. Do you give up? No. Toaster is correct. Shri, I saw you on it. Before that, there were some others who also answered. His love never reads love stories. There is another word hidden here. Come on. Yes. Very easy word. Oven. That's right. All of you are very, very smart in you're all word smart. That's why you're able to decipher the answer. These are the answers: mug, ladle, teapot, fork, cup, toaster, and oven. Simple and easy. Third type of intelligence, people smart. People smart is interpersonal intelligence. People are very clever in talking. They're very good at making friends. They're always there when two people are fighting. They love to negotiate and they love to cooperate with others, listen to people's moods. They communicate well. They can empathize well. They're very positive and see others' moods. Such people can be good counselors. They can become good politicians. They could be good business persons, right? Salespersons. When you go to buy something, those people talk to us. Interpersonal intelligence in the laboratories, in our classrooms, we can have small exercises like doctor, parent, and children. The dialogues can be built up between the children. And how can the students enhance their interpersonal skills? Because not all of them have it. One, they can inculcate the basics of effective communication. What are they? Eye contact, active listening, good body language, right voice tone. Voice tone, teachers, is very important, especially during your online classes, because children are not able to see you fully. They are able to only hear you. So you have to be very patient in the way you talk to them. The facial expressions are important too. Participating in regular group discussions, debates on different topics, developing a non-judgmental understanding of other people and their situations. So this is how we can work on their interpersonal skills. We can also give them debate topics, give them graphic organizers where they can organize their thoughts. And then we can do these kind of exercises when we can give them skeleton dialogues. We can have two children on telephone, student A, student B, and they could be having a formal discussion when student A says something and student B answers something, so that we teach them how to respond. Coming to fourth type of intelligence, that is self-smartness. Self-smartness is looking within. That is intrapersonal. Intrapersonal intelligence, which is ability to understand one's own feelings and motivations. It's the ability to self-reflect and be aware of one's inner state of being. Okay? Very, very important for you to know your feelings, your dreams, to know what you want to do in life. Ask a child in grade 10. 60% of them will know what stream they want to take in 11th. But there'll be 30-40% will be so confused. It really takes a big toll on the teachers, to guide them to decide what they want to do. Take up careers like researchers, theorists, philosophers. Very important that our intrapersonal intelligence can be enhanced by doing small exercises through role plays, and also through making some dramatic exercises in the classroom, practicing self-reflection in the form of expressive art, creative writing, self-talk, self-instruction, and management for various tasks, exploration of one's strengths and one's weaknesses, along with encouraging initiative. Certain graphic organizers can also be used. You can write down, what am I good at? What does my family think of me? What are my best sports? What is my goal in life? What is my short-term goal, long-term goal? You could do some simple exercises for interpersonal learners to enhance their interpersonal strength. Those of them who are not very good at. You can give them a limerick like, there was once a man from Beijing, all his life he hoped to be king. So he put on a crown which quickly fell down, that small, silly man from Beijing. This is a small little example. Now, if you give them a limerick, after that, you give them 2 templates. And in that, you give them many blanks. Let them use the basic rhythm as it is given, but other than that, let them implore and use their own words and vocabulary. This way, they will reflect, think within, and they will come up with beautiful answers. Okay, so we have learned about 4 types of intelligences so far. And I'm going to give you a simple question on it. I hope I'm able to lift it up. Yes. I'm going to share it in the chat window. A tiny little poll for all of you. And before we move on to the next one, yes. So I hope you are able to open it. Yes. The question is, they seek accuracy and precision in their work. Their mind is complex and works like a computer. They're high in dash intelligence. You have to give the answer. What is the answer? You just need to vote for one of them. Okay, you will say share again. So I'm sharing again. You just need to open it and click on one of the answers. Okay, so I'm showing you the results. The results are we have 89.55% people who have gone for 100 and logical intelligence, which is the correct answer. Good. Good children. Teachers are listening very attentively. We move on to the next intelligence, and that is musical intelligence. Who are the people who are musically smart? It encompasses the capability to recognize and compose musical pitches, singing, whistling, composing music and all. And the people who are good at this, they can make rhymes, they can also identify tunes, and can also sing a lot. How can we work upon this intelligence? By developing an exposure to different genres of musical pieces, learn to play the musical instruments, working with the beats of music, practice new tunes, writing and singing poetry, taking up some famous rhymes like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, play it, and then make the children fill in the blanks. And you'll be surprised that how quickly they're able to fill it because they are musically inclined. It's not that a maths teacher cannot have music in his class or a science teacher cannot have music in his class. Music can always add little fun and interest in the class. You just need to implore how you're going to do it. Body smart or kinesthetic intelligence. These body smart people, they learn best through physical activities such as dance, hands-on tasks, constructing models. They're able to manipulate and control objects, express their idea through movement. Okay, so it is important that it is not only physical education, which is bodily intelligence, but also cooking, Zumba. It can also be cooperative group dancing. All these things, you can see all these, sports. You can see how children are playing all these activities. Whenever there is a physical movement, it is so important for children. They love it. So we should try to combine as much movement in the classroom as possible, because if the child is more kinesthetic in nature and the teacher is more of a logical in nature, and if the teacher does not use any movement, then the child who's kinesthetic will get bored. So there has to be some physical movement in class, some activity. Picture smart, visual spatial. It gives one the ability to manipulate and create mental images. It can be in the form of written or oral description or discussions. They could be visual metaphors and stories. For example, if I ask you to draw the image, the roadmap from your house to your school, some of you will be able to think in visual images. Some of you will be able to write an essay or a paragraph on it. So the people who are visually inclined, visually picture smart, their skills include puzzle building, reading, understanding graphs, and people like Leonardo da Vinci, Walt Disney. These are the people who have been very good and known in the world. So many activities children can do. Rangoli making, all the schools are busy doing art integration. We are not only doing the visual art, which is paintbrush or clay modeling, but also it is, performing arts, where it is music or instrumental music, or it's dancing, so, or theater, all four kinds. So visual spatial intelligence is to do with students can be enhanced. Their visual spatial intelligences can be enhanced. How? By giving them to practice activities like map reading, plotting for studying topographies, developing creative visualization and patterns on paper. Imaginative drawing is the best way to enhance the visual spatial skill. Color mixing and matching, picture storytelling, activities like Pictionaries for various concepts that the children love to do in class. So design thinking is also some form that takes you further, drawing, building, mazes, imagining, looking at picture. One tiny exercise for all of you. A father asked his daughter to go and buy him something for a trip. The girl came up to his desk, and on the envelope she read 98. There she chose 90 rupees worth of stuff. When she got to the cash desk, she was 4 rupees short. How come? She read 98, but when she went to pay the money, she was 4 rupees short. Give me the answer. What had happened? What did she read it? I'm looking at the chat window, waiting for you people to give the answers. 86, Alice. Very good. So fast to give the answer. Very good. So it is It was 98 and she read it upside down. It was actually 86. That's how she was fall. She fell short of 4 rupees. Nature smartness, naturalistic, or the eighth type of intelligence. We did in the second half, we did musical, kinesthetic, visual, spatial, and now naturalistic. People with this intelligence have a sensitivity and appreciation for nature. They love to sit in the lap of nature. They love to watch birds. They love to watch the night sky. They're very friendly with the animals. They love to grow plants in their garden. They have an affinity and bonding with plants and animals. So such children who are very naturalistic, intelligent, they can practice activities like gardening. They can be taught. Children can be given this value that on your birthdays you should be, getting plants as gifts rather than sweets and cakes, which is a waste of money, as well as it is not nutritious. So tours and explorations of natural plants, observation of night sky, stars, traveling with an observation flipbook is very, very good way of enhancing naturalistic intelligence. One little tiny question for all of you. Let me see if you are able to give the answer. This is based on these 4 intelligences that we have done in the second part. If you answer them well, then you remember you have to attempt another assignment in the end. So that's why I'm giving you, yes. So I'll come back to the chat window and I'll see, yes, I'm opening the poll here. What happened? Yeah, it is already there. What intelligence is at its best if a person is a surgeon? Oh, it's written twice. So if a person is a surgeon, what is a surgeon? He works with his hands, right? Now come on, tell me, is it musical, kinesthetic, interpersonal, or linguistics? I'm opening the results. The results, let me see where have you. Okay, I've got 92% people have said bodily kinesthetic. You all are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. I'm going back to my discussion. Taking some more serious talk now. Now you all are teachers. You need to understand how to do the lesson planning, isn't it? How can you go back from the session without learning how to plan your lessons so that MIs could be integrated in them? So good planning helps teachers develop strong lesson plans. That accommodate different types of learners in the classroom. It also improves student success by allowing students to learn things. So you have learned about 8 intelligences. You have learned about logical, linguistics. Logical is all about maths and numbers. Linguistics about words. Interpersonal about relationships, about making friends. Intrapersonal about looking within, being self-smart. Musical, kinesthetic, being bodily smart. Visual, spatial, those who can think in graphics, in visuals, and naturalistic, who are close to nature. So now, when you are designing your lesson plans, you should try to include at least 4 to 5 types of MIs in your lesson plan so that you could reach out to every child. You can integrate multiple intelligences with Bloom's taxonomy. You can see this figure. How to, the Bloom's taxonomy stages, knowing, understanding, applying, analyzing, and evaluating and creating. So if let us look at verbal skills, that is verbal is your word smartness or your linguistics. I enjoy reading, writing, and speaking. So I'll just give you one example. In this, you have to take the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy. You will take, imagine you are an astronaut and propose a way to allow more people to visit space. So this is the stage of creation. All right. So like this, for mathematical, for kinesthetic, you can develop all 6 stages of Bloom's taxonomy. Now, take any topic and work towards making MI lesson plan. Ask yourself these questions. For example, ask yourself, how can I bring numbers in my class? How can I bring visual aids in my class? How can I bring music in my class? And how can I involve body movement or engage students in talking to each other, engage students in looking within, engage students in being close to nature, and also using, lots and lots of good vocabulary. How can I do that in the subject that I'm teaching? One example, you can make this kind of a sunshine wheel, or whatever you may call it, kind of graphic, where you write down the name of the topic of the lesson in the center, and all the 8 rounds you can write logical, visual, special, musical and all. And suppose we take a simple topic like types of transports. So in logic, there will be 3 types. In visual spatial, there will be pictures of them. In musical, there will be sounds of them. In bodily kinesthetic, you can ask them to make aeroplane with hand and show it. In interpersonal, you could do interaction with traffic inspector, interview him. In intrapersonal, you can write the story of a travel. That what if I am an aeroplane? You can ask them to write autobiography of an aeroplane. Naturalistic, witness the aeroplane landing, its sound, movement of train, car, bullock cart. Linguistics, solve the crossword puzzles, different types of modes of transportation. Like this, you can incorporate 8 types of things in your lesson planning. Okay, now I'm going to give you a tiny little task, and that is I'm giving you a topic. And on this topic, I'm sharing a Padlet. In the Padlet, you all need to give me different ideas. You have to give the ideas for making a lesson plan on a simple topic, and that is water. Water is something which is taught at every level, right from KG to grade 12. So you can think about different types of activities or lessons, that MIs that you could do. I'll give you an example. For linguistics, you can say ask the children to write a poem on water, something like that. Please share attendance link. It will be shared, don't worry. It's still going on. Yeah. So I'm waiting for you all to give me some ideas on this Padlet. Most of you must be familiar with. There is a plus sign on the extreme right hand side. And on the plus sign, you just need to click on it and you will be able to access this Padlet. And I want to see what are you all going to write. Topic is water. Write the question or activity for any class. From 5, 8, 12, the topic is water. Yeah, I'm waiting. So what you need to do is click on this plus sign and start writing. So you just have to access it, and I have shared it many times. Not able to write. How come? Anyway, so I will share again. Fine, then you can write in the chat window. If you can't write there in the Padlet, you can write in the chat window. You can write linguistic intelligence. For linguistic intelligence, what will be a simple activity that you could do that will be linguistic? Then you could think of an activity like, for example, for linguistic, you can write about a small paragraph on water, an essay on water, right? For logical, you can give them different statistics of water. For example, in India, what are the major rivers? How different rivers are there, or different water bodies are there, different oceans that surround our country, different types of lakes that are there. For visual spatial intelligence, you can ask them all to draw a picture of a rainy day. On a rainy day, what does our roads, what do they look like? What do the children wear on a rainy day? What kind of creatures come out on a rainy day? And then I'm coming to musical intelligence. So if you're doing musical intelligence, what kind of sound does water make? Yeah. For musical, make sound of water. That's nice. Sonali and Ashwin has written chemical formula can be incorporated. That's right. And you're giving good ideas. Then we have interpersonal intelligence. In that, how will you make people talk to each other? Discussing about water. You can have a webinar on water. Recently it was a webinar given by Kiran Bediji, and she spoke at length about water conservation. And we are coming up, like this, we can talk about protection of water. We can talk about SDG 13, where climate change, we all need to protect our climate and save the world. Yes. In logical, interpret chemical structure of water. That's brilliant. That's nice. So interpersonal, we can have a discussion about water. We can have a group discussion where 5 to 6 children could be talking to each other. We can have a debate on water. We can also have a seminar on water when we can talk about water conservation being a great concern. On intrapersonal intelligence, we can ask children to look within and talk about water, write about, do some kind of research on water, how dirty the water is when it is falling in the industrial area because of the soot that it carries. So any kind of thing, the child can write a poem, the child can write an article, a research-based topic, can do further research on it. Good. Then naturalistic intelligence, what will you do in this? You can take the class to the nature, take out, make them observe rainfall. You can see, you can visualize a rainy day and make the children look at it. And then kinesthetic is the movement, physical movement children can do. How does the water fall? How does the water, what kind of sound does it make? They can also be, some kind of role plays which could be based on the theme water. Okay. So now I'm so thankful to all of you who've given fantastic, answers in the chat window. Coming to the last slide of my day, and that is, and intelligence is the ability to solve problems or to create products that are valued within one or more cultural setting. This is what Howard Gardner said, and this is what is made, this is what has made the headlines. So it is important that all of you must recall and remember the basic definition of intelligence that he has given. I'm sharing with you all a nice handout which you can read about multiple intelligences and enhance your knowledge. And with this, I come to the end of my presentation. I'm stopping to share the screen. Thank you so much for being fantastic listeners and participants. If you have any queries or questions, I'm here to answer. Rama ma'am, have you got any questions that need to be answered? Yeah, we can show lovely answers. All of you have given fantastic answers, beautiful. Yeah. If there are any questions, you can ask. Right. I think the attendance link is already shared.
Thank you, Bharti ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And all participants, they must click on the link for attempt the questions, and then you can leave the session. It is in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Wonderful session.
मोबाइल
मोबाइल से कर रही हूँ।
आप जब उसको साइन इन करते हैं तो जो सेव का ऑप्शन आता है उसको सेव होने दीजिए। जीमेल का जो आईडी होगा उससे वो हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वो गूगल फॉर्म है तो वो जीमेल से अटैच है। आप उसको साइन इन
अच्छा।
करेंगे तब वो ऑटोमेटिक वर्किंग करेगा।
साइन इन जैसे मैं करती हूँ ना, पहले कंटिन्यू किया, वो कंटिन्यू किया, वो उसके ऊपर क्लिक किया तो साइन इन वाला वो आया, तो उसके ऊपर जैसे क्लिक करते हैं ना तो वही अगेन पॉपिंग वही आ रहा है, वो उसमें वो लिखने ही नहीं दे रहा है, वो नाम और वगैरह।
मोबाइल में क्रोम नहीं है क्या?
हाँ जी, मोबाइल में
क्रोम है, क्रोम, गूगल क्रोम।
मोबाइल हाँ है ना, क्रोम तो है।
वो ब्राउजर पे तो आ जाएगा, उसमें सेव करके मैंने भी अभी ट्राई किया तो उसमें चल रहा है। आप लोगों के क्वेश्चन देखने के बाद
मोबाइल में तो क्रोम तो है सर, मेरे मोबाइल में।
तो ऐसे तो कोई दिक्कत आ नहीं रहा है, वर्किंग है।
सर वही अभी जैसे मेरी नीस है यहाँ पे, तो मैंने हाँ, मैंने ना यहाँ से वो हाँ जी
मैं आपकी तरफ से कर दूंगा तो फिर मुझे आईडी पासवर्ड चाहिए होगा।
हाँ यानी ये ऐसे यानी एक मिनट कॉपी टेक्स्ट एक मिनट मैं ना शायद कॉपी
अगर
टेक्स्ट करती हूँ मेरे नीस के मोबाइल पे, एक बार व्हाट्सएप करके
मैंने
देखूं
आपको
सर
दोबारा
उसको।
एक बार और ट्राई करके देखिए, मैंने आपको दोबारा लिंक भेजा है।
हाँ सर एक मिनट, अरे एक मिनट चला गया वो। आप यानी आपको क्या आईडी पासवर्ड कैसा चाहिए सर उसके लिए?
नहीं,
देखिए
अगर
अभी मैंने
आपकी
कंटिन्यू किया ना, अभी देखो मैंने कंटिन्यू किया ना, तो अभी वो आ रहा है साइन इन टू कंटिन्यू टू फिल आउट दिस फॉर्म यू मस्ट बी साइन इन, योर आइडेंटिटी विल रिमेन एनोनिमस। ओके, अभी मैं इसको
ओके
साइन इन का क्लिक करती हूँ। अभी देखो
जी,
वापस पॉप होके आ गया साइन इन टू कंटिन्यू, उसको क्लिक करती हूँ ना, और जैसे में वापस तुरंत पॉपिंग होके आ जाता है वो। ये एक मिनट मेरी नीस से बात करिए ना सर, एक मिनट। ले
हेलो।
जी, यस
हाँ,
यस।
इसमें जो ये लाइक साइन इन टू कंटिन्यू वो कंटिन्यूअसली पॉप होते जा रहा है, मतलब कुछ भी टाइप नहीं कर पा रहे अभी।
एक्चुअली साइन इन होने के बाद में तो फॉर्म ओपन हो जाएगा, उसमें आप अपनी डिटेल्स भर सकते हैं,
या
ईमेल आईडी और नेम और
नहीं
स्कूल
नहीं
में।
वो जो ओके, सो जो वो फॉर्म है ना उसमें ही कुछ टाइप नहीं कर पा रहे, उसमें ही लाइक कंटिन्यूअसली साइन इन का आए जा रहा है पॉप होके।
एक्चुअली क्या है ना कि सबसे पहले उसमें साइन इन होना जरूरी है, अगर साइन इन नहीं होगा तो फिर वो पता नहीं चलेगा कि किस कहाँ से उसको सबमिट किया गया है।
ओके
एक बार गूगल क्रोम में जाके एक बार देख लीजिए, उसमें जो आपका जीमेल आईडी होगा उसको आप एक बार साइन इन करके देखिए कि वो गूगल क्रोम में ऑलरेडी साइन है या नहीं है।
ओके ओके ठीक है।
मोबाइल का जो जीमेल, मोबाइल एंड्रॉइड है कौन सा है?
एंड्रॉइड है।
एंड्रॉइड में सेव होगा ईमेल आईडी, तो वो ईमेल आईडी अगर
हाँ
उसमें शो कर रहा है वो ऑटोमेटिकली करेगा। ठीक है,
ओके
एक
ओके
बार ट्राई
ठीक है,
कर लीजिए।
देख लेते हैं। हाँ ट्राई कर लेते हैं। ओके તમે મને મોકલો ને મારા પર મારા WhatsApp
આ કઈ
પર
રીતે મોકલવાનું?
મારો WhatsApp ખોલો।
આને પેલા
मैं पूछने जा रही हूँ अटेंडेंस कैसे फिल होगी?
अभी आपका सेशन खत्म हुआ है, 2 दिन का टाइम लगेगा, 2 दिन बाद अपडेट हो जाएगा। आप चेक कर लीजिएगा मंडे या ट्यूसडे में, क्योंकि कल सैटरडे संडे छुट्टी भी है।
मीन्स हम सर्टिफिकेट अभी डाउनलोड नहीं कर सकते?
नहीं,
नहीं कर सकते सर?
अटेंडेंस नहीं।
आप देखो सर, टीचर पोस्ट लगी, अटेंडेंस लगी है?
वो वो बाद में चेक हो जाएगा मैम, मेरे पास और भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं।
ओके वो
आपको 2
ठीक है
दिन
सर। मुझे
आपको कोई दिक्कत हो तो मेल
सर
से
मुझे एक
जिस
प्रॉब्लम है सर, प्लीज प्लीज लिसन। मैंने एक कोर्स करा था, उसमें मैंने फीडबैक नहीं लिखी थी, और उन्होंने मेरे को बाद में बोला आपने फीडबैक नहीं लिखी इसलिए यू विल नॉट गेट एनी सर्टिफिकेट। डर्ट ट्रेनिंग का ही करा था आपका ही वालों में से, 100
कौन सा
रुपीज पे करके। मैंने हैप्पी क्लासरूम लर्निंग का करा था तब।